Welcome back. This video is over special angle pairs formed by parallel lines crossed by a transversal. So first, what is a transversal? Well, a transversal is the line that crosses the other two. So that would be this line right here, this blue line. Or in this case, this blue line. Okay. Those are your transversals. Now the next thing we need to know is interior and exterior. So you'll see the interior is inside our lines, inside the lines. And the exterior are outside of the lines. Okay. The next word we want to look at is same side, which they call consecutive, or alternate angles. Those deal with your transversal. So once you have your transversal, if we have same side, we're going to look at things that are on, well, the same side. So these four would be same side or consecutive angles. And then these four would also be same side or consecutive. Alternate, it's kind of like it says, you're going across. So if I started here, I cross the transversal, I cross the transversal, and I cross it. Those would be alternate. So we're going from, from there to there, or from there to there. Okay? Those would be alternate. So our other set of alternate would be to start at the top here and go down and across. Now, when we deal with our angle pairs, we're actually getting both things happening. We're going to name them either interior or exterior, and whether they're consecutive or alternate. So you've got both things going on. Let's start with the consecutive angles. So we're going to be looking at these here, so the four on the left and the four on the right. If they are both interior, we have what's called consecutive interior angles. These are the angles that are inside the parallel lines and on the same side of your transversal. Angles 2 and 5 are consecutive interior angles. Angle 4 and 6 are consecutive interior angles. Now we also have exterior. So if they are both exterior angles and on the same side, we call them consecutive exterior angles. So that would be our angles like 1 and 7, or 2 and 8. Now remember, on these videos you need to pause between slides so that you can write the information down. Now that we've done the consecutive, let's look at the two alternates. So these are both in the middle here. If they are alternate angles, so that means they are on opposite sides of the transversal, and they are both inside, we call them alternate interior angles. So that would be 3 and 6. And then our other set would be 4 and 5. It is important to know these names because they're going to help us later on know whether these angles are equal to each other or supplement to each other. Our next one is the alternate exteriors. So these are the angles that are outside of the lines and on opposite sides. So if I start with angle 1 that's outside, I come down here, angle 8 is its partner. And if I start with angle 2, its partner would be angle 7. If I wanted them to be interior, The next thing we need to look at, is the corresponding. So those first four were always the same. They were both inside, both outside. This one's a little different. This last couple we're looking at will have some inside and one outside. So you've got one of each happening. So our corresponding are when you have one that is inside and one that is outside. They need to be on the same side of the transversal, but they cannot be a linear pair, so they're not adjacent. So if I look at angle 1, they have to be on the same side, so its partner needs to be one of these three. Now, it has to be inside, so that makes it one of these two, but it is not adjacent, so it has to be angle 5. If I started with angle 3, its partner would be down here at angle 7. There are 4 sets of corresponding. So if I run over to the other side, angle 2 corresponds with angle 6. I've got one that's inside, one that's outside, and they're not adjacent. And then our last pairing would be 4 and 8. Now the next type of angles are actually ones we've seen before. So those first 5 different names had to have 3 sets of lines, your 2 parallel and your transversal. These two only need 2 lines. So I'm really only discussing this pair. Okay? The first one was our linear pairs, and if you remember from the last chapter, or chapter 1, adjacent angles formed by 2 intersecting lines. Now I have, even if I'm only looking at this 4 here, I've got 4 sets. I have 1 and 2. I have 3 and 4. Now notice that those were both outside and both inside. The fact that they're adjacent is what makes them linear pairs. But I also could look at this pair. Now I have an in and an out, and this pair. Okay. Then our other special name is the vertical, and remember those are the non-adjacent angles formed by 2 intersecting lines. For this one, they're the ones across from each other. So like 5 and, whoops, didn't change colors. So like 5 and 8, and then 6 and 7. If you have any questions, jot them down and ask when you come to class.